Traditional 401ks and Roth 401ks, which one is better? Stay with me. First, I have a newsletter. If you want to be part of the Your Rich Auntie newsletter, I'm going to put the information in the description box on where to sign up, and I'm also going to pin it to the top of the comments. Please do sign up for the newsletter. There's a lot of information that I reveal and share in the newsletter that I don't share here on the channel, and I want you to become part of the Your Rich Auntie community. I also want to say that this video is strictly educational. Please do not take anything I say as financial advice. To make a determination whether a Roth or traditional account is better for you, you really should have a conversation with a certified financial planner and an accountant. So to bring everyone up to speed, a traditional retirement account, traditional IRA 401k, is pre-tax money. So that means when you put in money this year, you receive a tax adjustment for putting money into that retirement account. But when you take that money out 30, 40, 50 years from now, you will be fully taxed on that money. So if you put in $10,000 into a traditional 401k today and it grows to $70,000, when you're ready to take it out, let's say 30 or 40 years from now, that $70,000 will be taxed at full ordinary income tax rate. The Roth is post-tax money, meaning that you pay the tax today, but all the future growth on that money will be tax-free when you take it out in the future. So instead of putting that $10,000 into a traditional 401k, you put it into a Roth 401k, it grows to $70,000. You go to take it out 40 years from now, it's completely tax-free. Now, the Roth provision got started in 1998, whereas the traditional 401k IRA provision started in the 1970s. And because of that, a lot of my silent generation baby boomer clients actually do not have a Roth. They were well in their working careers in 1998. Maybe they were working for an organization that just never offered the Roth provision. They weren't really educated about it. But my younger clients, Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z, are well aware of Roth and often take advantage of Roth. So the decision point that I, as a financial advisor, make with clients about Roth is, do you want to pay the taxes now or do you want to pay the taxes later? And this is predicated on several things. If you have someone who is starting out their career, maybe they're 21, 22, 23, and their income is just not that high because they're at the very starting point of their career, they know that they're going to be earning a lot more money later on. And by the end of the career, they're going to be earning a lot of money. In that case, Roth may make sense for an individual like that because they're paying a low tax rate now and enjoying the growth on that money tax-free forever. And hopefully when they get to retirement, they'll be in a very high tax bracket, but they'll be able to take all that money out tax-free and not have a concern about that. For a traditional account, if you have someone who is very high income now and thinks that they're going to be in a much lower tax bracket at retirement, maybe the traditional account makes more sense. So they get a tax deduction now while they're at a very high earning income. So they get a good tax deduction for putting the money in now. And then when they're at the 12% tax rate when they retire, they can take the money out and just pay 12% taxes on it. So they may be getting 33% now, but they'll have to pay 12% in the future. So that's one consideration that we make in determining whether someone should do Roth or someone should do a traditional contribution. Also, a lot of it factors into what you think taxes will be in the future. If you think taxes will go down and be much lower in the future, making a traditional contribution may make sense. But if you personally believe that taxes will be much higher in the future, maybe making a Roth contribution makes a lot more sense. I myself personally, given the totality of the American financial experience, especially looking at the size of the national deficit and the fact that the big beautiful bill just tacked another, $5 trillion onto our national deficit, and just overall demographic changes that are happening. Baby boomers, silent generation, are currently retiring. Baby boomers is our largest cohort. The Generation X, Millennials, and Gen Zs are much smaller cohorts of people. And also the national conversation around immigration. A lot of immigrants pay taxes. They paid taxes and took no benefits from the system. Now that there's mass deportation and people are being exited of the country, that tax revenue has to be made up somewhere. So personally, for that and a few other reasons, which can be their own video, I think that tax rates in the future are going to have to be much higher in order to pay off the national deficit and keep the same level of benefits and services we enjoy in American society today. Therefore, if someone thinks that taxes are going to be much higher in the future, then that would be a case for the Roth IRA. Now, when working with clients to determine whether they should be doing traditional or Roth, sometimes we do bring in an accountant because it really does have an accounting question to it. As a financial advisor, I know just enough about accounting to be dangerous. So I always give people a caveat that they should check it out with their accountant. A lot of my younger clients make the decision to put money away in the Roth IRA or Roth 401k. And I think this speaks to the fact that a lot of millennials and a lot of Gen Zs are very nervous about the future. They're feeling it in the wind that their tax obligations will be much higher in the future than it is in the present or it has been in the past. And they are nervous, especially with the prospect of having to pay taxes and retirement. Unusually enough, I think a lot, especially Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zs, are actually listening to baby boomers and silent generation, people who have retired, and they're hearing the stories of people who've done it right and hearing the stories of people who have regrets. And one of the common regrets in retirement is that they didn't know enough in order to do tax planning. So they're paying much more in taxes and subsequently Medicare and other things than they anticipated they would in retirement because they didn't structure taxes properly. And I think there's enough education out there among the younger generations that people understand that if you have a traditional account, an individual brokerage account, and a Roth account, that gives you three buckets to pull from. And with proper guidance from an accountant or a certified financial planner, you can use those three different buckets at different times to adjust your income and to either pay less in taxes or maybe less in Medicare and really construct your retirement and your retirement income in a way that makes sense and is most tax advantageous for you. So I think there's just a lot more education out there about the Roth provision, and the younger generations are realizing how powerful Roth will be in the future for them. I do have a few clients who do everything Roth. It's a personal decision. It may make sense in some rare situations to do everything Roth, but typically it makes sense to have a blend, some Roth, some traditional, and some in a brokerage account. And another question that I am asked is if the employer does a match for your contributions, can that go into a Roth or does that have to go into a traditional? It goes into traditional accounts. I've never seen a match done to a Roth. I'm not even sure it can be done. Maybe in some rare circumstances it can be done, but in 99% of the cases, your employer is going to be contributing to a traditional account. And that's because the employer receives a tax benefit for making that contribution into a traditional account. And of course, they want that tax benefit. So there you have it. This is just a short video to go over the provisions of a traditional account and a Roth account. Which one is better for you? I can't say. But given the parameters of what I said, if you think taxes are going to be higher in the future, the Roth may make more sense. If you think taxes are going to be lower in the future, maybe a traditional makes more sense. With that information, you really should have a conversation with an accountant or a certified financial planner. Take a look at your current retirement savings, make some plans for your future retirement savings, and then make a determination which pathway is best for you. So there you have it. Tell me what you think and tell me what you like. If you found this information useful, please share and subscribe.